This is my hypothesis. They knew about Lee Royal Family Museum. Maybe not very well, but I'm sure that they knew the fact. This museum was referred as, for them, for Imaizumi and for Hijikata, this museum was referred as the mirror which showed them the way they should not go. The Royal Museum was for the nation to show the power of political policy and governance, and under the colonized governance, and bureaucrats leads all of the plan. That is the way they should not go. Hijikata and Imaizumi thought. This is my hypothesis. They put newly the position curator. They create a new museum as a modern public museum. To make this modern public museum, the position curator becomes on the stage. Curator is a new worker for the museum instead of the bureaucrats, and they work for the museum and for the art, not for the nation. They disengagement from the political power. So MoMA was an example as a kind of citizenship. In 1951 and 1952, two museums were born. And at first, these two museums' purposes were shared. But after a few years, the ways were separated. National Museum in Tokyo. At first, Imaizumi didn't accept the works collected by the Ministry of Education. You remember that 1907, Japanese Ministry of Education started a big exhibition, and they started collect the works of prize winner. So 1952, the Ministry of Education has already a big collection. But Imaizumi at first didn't accept this collection because this collection is not based on the democratic system, democratic idea. This is based on the bureaucratic plan and too much patriotism they had. But after a big battle between Ministry of Education and Mr. Imaizumi, he couldn't help but accept them. So, in result, they set the point of make their collection from 1907, year of the establishment of the exhibition of Ministry of Education. And the National Modern Museum set the starting point of the modern period at 1907. In the other hand, Kamakura Modern Museum. This museum started without collection and without permanent exhibition. The building is very small, very cute, very small, and they do not have enough place to have the permanent collection. But remember, artists, Association of Artists moved strongly to the Kanagawa government to establish the museum to show their works. It means to make the exhibition, to do the exhibition, to show current works in this exhibition, in this museum. So Kamakura Museum started without permanent exhibition. And they set the modern period, the starting point of modern period, not in 1907, but much earlier, in the middle of Edo period. Focus on the groups of out of power. It is very good contrast, because the National Museum looked down at the groups, many groups with much care, and they tried to make a balance of these groups. But Kamakura Museum focused on the groups around the groups which was protected by the National Museum. And the Kamakura Museum started the collection based on not the central artist, but very active artists in periphery of the big public exhibition. The difference of the mission of two museums separated little by little. National Modern Museum can't help to write the orthodox and authorized modern art history based on their big collection started from 1907. So we can say that when we see the collection of National Modern Museum, 見たことあるでしょ、教科書で。It means everybody see these works in your school textbook. This is the catchphrase of National Modern Art Museum. And Kamakura Modern Art Museum, they take care of the narrative of modern art, which does not become an authorized history. My museum doesn't want to write the authorized history, but takes care of the narrative of the artist and the works. And Kamakura Museum focused on the periphery, not the central part. And we say, you don't see this kind of works in the museum. You don't see this kind of works in your school textbook. It is very different, these two museums, like brothers at first, but very different, like real brother of humankind. So, from now, I would like to promote my exhibition. The eyes of them, Korean artists and Japanese artists in Korean Peninsula, 1890 to 1960s. This is the name of the exhibition. I think I am planning this exhibition based on the mission of Kamakura Museum, not the mission of the National Modern Art Museum. Viewpoint, I set the viewpoint of this exhibition on the periphery of Orthodox art history, not based on the ministry exhibition in Korean Peninsula or structure made by colonial government, not based on the colonialism. And I don't want to make easy comparison between Japan and Korea. I want to be based on the pride of the artist. Because the works of the artists are really the pride of the artist, living artist. The important point of this exhibition, we are going to show the works of the artist, Japanese artist and Korean artist who were in Korean Peninsula. For example, Japanese artist born in Korean Peninsula or lived in Korea or traveled to Korea as a traveler or as a jury of the Chosun art exhibition like that. And Korean artists we selected who have had certain relationship between Japan. I think that the art and artworks are not the reference image of the history book. I don't want to use the artworks as a reference image. I would like to say again that the works of art, works of the artists, is the pride of living artists. This is really promotion. This exhibition is traveling 6 museums from next spring to 2016 in February. Please look at these museums carefully. There is not Tokyo, there is not Osaka. This is the reality of Japan. Japan and Korean modern art museum, modern art exhibition. It sounds a little bit dangerous. So the museums in Tokyo and Osaka, big city, they didn't say yes to have this exhibition. They didn't accept to this exhibition. Kanagawa, this is my museum, but in Hayama, not in Kamakura. Hayama Pavilion is the latest one, opened 2003. It's a big building. And Niigata Bandaijima is very close to Korea. It's the important, Bandaijima has a very important port to go to Korea by ship. And Gifu, Hokkaido, Miyako-no-jo in Miyazaki. It's really south part. And the last venue is Fukuoka. Fukuoka is, of course, very close to Busan. These 6 museums. And we started planning this exhibition in 2010. So it took over 4 years to prepare. Usually, until now, there were several Japanese and Korean modern art exhibitions, but they were based on the rules, colonialized rules. For example, Joseon Art exhibition that was a part of the colonial system, and Korean artists came to Tokyo Art University. It is also a part of modern Japanese system, educational system like that, but we would like to shift to the artist and the work. And we would like to see that what the works can speak, can tell to you. And we would like to see the artist not only under the colonial period, but also as an independent, modern person. For example, I show you 3 portraits. You can read the identity of these 3 artists, I think. There are Japanese artists and Korean artists, but I'm sure that nobody can know which one is Korean, which one is Japanese. It's difficult, I think. The left one, I would like to tell you the background of these artists. The left one, the artist's name is Ko Hee-dong. He is the first art student coming to Korea for learning oil paintings. He came to Japan 1908. It is before colonization. He was a bureaucrat of Lee Dynasty, and the Lee Dynasty sent him to Japan as a national student. And as a national student, he should learn economy or politics. But he chose to enter to the art university. And that painting is his graduate work. You can see his identity. He's wearing Korean dress, so I'm Korean, and he's wearing the hat. You can identify that he is a member of aristocrat. So he painted himself as a Korean and a member of aristocrat. And he looks very straight to the audience. So he is standing in front of you with his pride. And right one, you cannot identify the left Ko Hee-dong as a painter, but the right one, it's easy to identify him. Oh, he's a painter. And he is also wearing Korean clothes. Oh, he is Korean. And wearing a hat, but he's modernist. This hat is Western hat. He's modernist. Yes, I'm Korean, and I'm modernist, and I'm painter, oil painter, palette, and brushes. And the back side of him, it is countryside of him. And please look at carefully the brushes, 4 brushes he has. 2 of them are oil painting brushes, but another 2 of them are traditional brushes for traditional painting. So he declared that I'm painter, I'm Korean, and I can use 2 ways to paint, Occidental way and Korean way. The center portrait is not self-portrait. This is a painting of old lady She looks very gentle. She's a grandmother, and she's wearing very traditional dress and sitting calm. I'm sure, and cat, you can see the cat. And it is winter, I think. The artist is Japanese, Mr. Tori. He was a teacher of school, high school. He was an art teacher in high school. And under Tori Sensei, many Korean students comes to Tokyo to learn art. And we can read that Tori-san, this old lady, lived just neighbor of Tori-san, and Tori-san respect this old lady just like as a grandmother. So there is certain expectations between this old lady, Korean old lady, and Japanese Tori-san. Of course, it was painted in 1936 or like that. So completely colonized period. But Tori-san respected this old lady very much. We can read. Next one. I should say one more thing. Based on the rules and the system of colonial Korea, colonial system, we said that the left one, he was a student of Tokyo National University of Art. And the right one, Ikede, he was a student of Musashino Art University in Japan. He learned in Japan. And he went to North Korea after 1952. And Tori-san, he was a member of Choson Art Exhibition. Oh. But I don't want to take this kind of viewpoint. I want to see the works, and I want to read the works and show you what the works can speak. Sometimes the local color is a very complicated issue, very big issue in modern art history between Japanese and Korean art history. Because local means, what is the meaning of local in colonized Korea? Local color was decided not by Korean, but by juries, Japanese juries in Choson Art Exhibition. So it is very much complicated. But and these two paintings are always regarded as an issue of local color. But let's read these two big oil paintings. Left one, blue sky and red land and greens and mother and daughter working on the ground. You can feel, oh, it's hot and a little bit tired after their big work, but a big energy at the same time, big energy to live. And the right side, two beautiful girls standing and sitting, holding a beautiful fan, wearing white dresses in the Western style room. You can see beautiful green garden big window. It is the situation of colonial Korea, but it is an example of modern living with their tradition. So this is an example of their way of life, very new way of living. At the same time, this is one of the local color painting. Which one is Korean painter painted? Which one is Japanese painters? Left one is Korean, right one is Japanese. But it is nothing to mention. It is the power of paintings we should see. In case of abstraction painting, the problem is much easier because in this kind of paintings, the theme is very important. Korean ladies or Japanese men or old man or old lady or child. Child means poor and powerless. Child is symbol of poor and powerless and small country. But in abstraction, there is no theme as a symbol. But Japanese painters and Korean painters can share the way to research, way to go to find the point of to find the true abstraction painting, they said. These are the paintings. Left one is Kim Hwang-gi, Korean artist. Right one is Yamaguchi Chonan, Japanese artist. They are very good friends. And Yamaguchi Chonan, right side, he was born in Korea, in Seoul, in big, rich Japanese house. And Kim Hwang-gi was born in Korea, Seoul also, and they were very good friends. And when Yamaguchi Chonan left Korea to Japan in 1945, Yamaguchi Chonan left all of his paintings to Kim Hwang-gi. This is a self-portrait of Korean painter Chao Jin, 1951. Self-portrait, but he painted himself very small. This painting is very small, like this. Very small painting, and he painted himself very small, but modernist. Please look at his front, morning, and umbrella, and hat, and black cat following him, and winding road. It is, so we can say that this man, not only this man is self-portrait, but this painting itself is his self-portrait. These works are of visions of. His wife is Japanese. She is living now, 92 years old. She is living in Setagaya in Tokyo. And these are visions of representative works. Cow. Cow is a symbol of Korea, and sometimes very violent. And making color. We can see this cow as a symbol of protesting Korean people. This is Ikede's big word, crowd, 1948. So before Korean War, it is just, we can read a big power to survive after 1945 as a naked human being. It is very, very difficult to survive, but want to survive more and more. We can receive the power of Korean people from this work. This is a girl sitting in a kitchen. Ishii Hattei, Japanese painter, painted this one. This one, 1918. He visited Korea many times, to countryside also, and he looked her carefully, and he painted this girl honestly. This kind of works, sightseeing, landscape, and market. This is a poster of department store. And landscape also in Seoul. You can find the church in the center of this painting. And piano with book and flowers, wearing traditional clothes, beautiful girl. It's like a symbol of modern life. I would like to show you one viewpoint. I'm sure that you can understand what I wrote. It's a little bit difficult to express, but what is the meaning of the boundary, and boundary affect for what, and how effective I would like to see. Not for Korean, but for Japanese too. This is the same work, Ikede, self-portrait. He go over the boundary of North Korea and South Korea, and he go over to the North Korea after painting this self-portrait 3 years later. So this is one example. Go over the boundary to North Korea. And I'd like to show you 4 cases. One is the example of Japanese painters, but they were born in Korea. And another one case is for Japanese painter. He lived in Korea. And another one is Korean painter. They lived in Korea and Paris and New York. So they go over the boundary to Europe and America. And the last one is for the Korean painter. Came to Japan, but their purpose was not art. First one is these are the paintings of Yamaguchi Chonan. He was born in Seoul, and he lived in Seoul. He went to Korea in his high school days to enter to Tokyo Art University. And he was back to Korea after his graduation, and he went to Paris to learn more, and back to Korea again, and he sent his works to Tokyo to exhibit. So he was born in Korea, he lived in Korea, but he always sent his work to Tokyo. So he was very active in Japan, not as an artist. He was very active as an artist in Japan, not in Korea. Living in Korea but active in Japan. This is one example. And he said, I should run away from Korea to Japan. And my parents' house was destroyed, and we became naked. But that house was my parents' house. So that was not me, should be naked. It's okay, he said. This is his later work. Left one, red one, he said, this color is a symbol of Korean Peninsula. And the right one, yellow, this color is like a symbol of Chinese land. He said, I was born in Seoul. My father came from Kagoshima. My mother came from Nagasaki. Kagoshima and Nagasaki are situated in Kyushu, south part. And this south part, is related to China, south part of China. So my mother is very similar to Chinese. So I am really familiar to Chinese. In another example, Rie Kazuko, she is living now 98 years old, and she is painting even now. She is preparing a big exhibition of 100 years birthday. She was born in Daegu, in Korea, 1916, and 1933, in her college, in her high school period, her painting Uradori, Back Street, won the prize. And when she was 18 years old, she came to Japan first, and he found Japan. She said at the first glance at the Shimonoseki port, she discovered Japan, and she said, Japan is like a box garden, too much. It's too small and too much controlled like that. She was born in Korea, and the nature around her is Korean nature, not Japan. So Japanese landscape is a little bit strange for her. And she said, Hakoniwa mitai, it's like a box garden. In the result of her words, box garden, she traveled to 1941. She had a solo exhibition in Peru, and 1943 she traveled to Chichiharu in Manchuria alone with her paintings by train, and she sold all of her paintings, and she got 2,000 yen. At that time, it's big money, and she used all of this money to buy her clothes. She's great. And after 1960s, she traveled to Istanbul. She traveled along the Silk Road, Southeast Asia, and finally she reached at Istanbul. She said, Japan is too small. Japan is like a box garden. And she go over the boundary of Japan and go to Istanbul. This is another example. I think that she's very interesting example. And another case is a sketch of Ando Shishige. He lived in Korea 7 years. 7 years, and this is a sketch of the market. Very lively. He looked at the details very well. So we can read his sympathy to Korean people. This one, washing the frog in the river. This is also the market. But after his back to Japan, he he changed completely the way to paint. These are the works after his back to Japan. He didn't use brushes anymore. He uses the knives and cut the surface of the papers and put the colors. He changed completely the way of painting. And I think that there is certain reason to change. This reason, a part of this reason is that he lived in Korea and he worked in Korea. And after his back to Japan, he couldn't solve the relationship with Korea. And Kim Hwang-gi, he was a very good friend of Yamaguchi Chonan, and he went to Paris. So he goes over the Korean boundary to Europe. And he painted this kind of work. The name of this work is Where and What Kind of Attitude We Can See Again. We can meet again. And Mr. Kim Byung-gi, he is also 98 years old. He is living in Los Angeles alone and painting every day. And he has a big solo exhibition now in Korea, in the National Contemporary Art Museum. He was born in 1916 in Pyongyang, and he came to Japan, Tokyo, and he learned in Bunka Gakuin and Academy Avant-Garde. He learned abstract art, and he brought the abstraction art to Korea. So, and Pyongyang is in North Korea, you know. And after 1945, he was back to Pyongyang. But 1952, he left Pyongyang to Seoul, and he went to New York. And this is a painting of Cho Yang-ju. He came to Japan after 1945. So not in the period of colonized Korea. The reason why he came to Japan is not for the art. He protested to the government after 1945. So he protested so strongly, so he should run away from South Korea to Japan. And after living several years in Japan, he left Japan to North Korea. So he lost his mother country, he lost his country twice. Once he left Korea and come to Japan, and he lost Japan again and goes to North Korea. This is another work of Cho Yang-ryu. This is drawing, and this work is this painter is Chung Hwa-hang. He was born in Korea, and he came to Japan before 1945, not for art, but for training the Buddhism. But he found Japanese painter Suda Kunitaro, and he decided to be an artist. And he lived in Japan until his death. This kind of work. This is the bone house. The country, the meaning of the country, it is a big issue for Korean modern art because of the colonized situation, Korean artists lost their nationality or social position. We usually say it in case of Korea. But as we saw, artists can come over, or artists can go over the boundaries very easily, not very easily, but they can come over, they can go over, beyond the border. The way of beyond is very characteristic as an artist. So this kind of attitude, go over, come over, is not only for Korean artists, but for Japanese artists too. We can see. And I think social identity, keeping their social identity, how to keep their social identity can become another viewpoint to see these paintings, these artworks in this period. So I'd like to make this exhibition from this viewpoint too. Thank you.